channel. Over the past 50 years, I've gotten to know the best drummers and teachers in the world, and I felt I had to document their proven teaching methods. That's how Drum Channel got started 15 years ago, and I've added to it every year, building a library with today's greatest drummers and the legendary teachers who taught them.
Don is pretty much a beast, aside from the fact that he has like more than 30 patents to his name and he pretty much invented the double bass pedal as we know it today. He's got these amazing real-world personal friendships and relationships with drumming royalty, drummers who literally changed the face of drumming forever. And it's not just professional relationships, he's friends with these people, he has been for decades. So that kind of access to those relationships gives Drum Channel access that nobody else has.
Drum Channel is about education and entertainment, with over 2,000 lessons in the DC Academy and 400 original shows in DC Entertainment. When you become a member, you'll be instantly enrolled in the DC Academy, where your learning journey truly begins. And I'll be there to meet you to go over the 4 areas you'll learn in. They are the DC Method, Artisan Residence courses. That's Chad Wackerman, Thomas Lang, Gregg Bissonette, and Terry Bozzio. Also, we have micro courses on specific topics and the master classes from over 100 of the greatest instructors and teachers of today. The DC Academy has proven teaching methods used in universities for years. It's everything you need to know. You will learn how to play the drums, what to play, and why to play it. That's what really makes truly great drummers. Then there are play-alongs. I know that's the most fun. We have legendary original songs for you to play, plus over 100 more, all with drums hot and drumless tracks. And we're adding new ones all the time. Then DC Entertainment. That's a world of its own, where you're going to be hanging out with great drummers. There's the Chad Smith Show, Terry Bozzio Show, DC Live. There's great documentaries. And every week there's a new show with Thomas Lang, and a new podcast with Billy Amendola, and my Lombardi Live Show, and so much more. So if you want to improve your technique, add to your vocabulary, learn the Moeller method from the man who studied with Sanford Moeller, my dear friend Jimmy Chapin. You know, it just doesn't get better than that, and it truly doesn't get better than this. There's over 2,000 lessons, 400 shows. Just scroll down and see what awaits you. If you have any questions, you can always contact me at donlombardi@drumchannel.com. I truly hope you become a member. I know you will not regret it, and there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. I'm not here at Drum Channel to try and sell you something. I'm actually a horrible salesperson. I'm here to give you something. That's the whole idea of Drum Channel, to give you the best information from the best drummers that'll improve the quality of your life. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a journey that I think you're going to enjoy. Please join me and everybody here at Drum Channel. Let's check out right now what some of the members have to say.
Think about how much you spend on a cup of coffee. Imagine if you could take that money and have at your fingertips the wealth of knowledge from some of the most incredible drummers in the world.
You are totally into the drummer's world.
You get to see these drummers up close and see exactly what they're doing is absolutely incredible.
You won't be a better drummer just by watching it. You have to practice, but you can get the inspiration and they can show you the way. You don't need to make the mistakes they already did, all the teachers. So.
It just really opens the whole world of drumming in a different way.
Nowhere can you find the variety of drummers and musicians that you can on Drum Channel.
I think it's a very inspirational way for new drummers to learn. You can't get it anywhere else.
It's given us this chance, so thank you to Drum Channel.
Here we are.
Here
We're
we are.
live. Yeah, I'm usually in the control room at a much safer place behind the switcher. And Thomas is out here going, what do I do now and what do I do next?
Exactly.
But he always comes up with something that's absolutely amazing.
Oh,
Let's go around the horn. I'm going to introduce you to our faculty here at Drum Channel, our artists in residence. I have Gregg Bissonette here.
Yay!
Hello. Who's also in charge of live audio as the show goes.
That's right. We've got rim shots.
Boom!
Yeah, there you go.
Applause.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Production value.
Woo! Thomas Lang. Here we're here
Hey guys.
in our little Westlake home.
Thank
then, as you entered from around the world, we also have judges from around the world. Still in the United States is Chad, but you're about 2 hours away. You're from your home studio, Chad Wackerman, where
Yes, there he
Chad
is.
does a lot of his work, and where you can take lessons with Chad also. And talking about around the world, from Japan, Terry, are you there? Terry Bozzio in Japan.
Terry!
Yay!
He's there. We know he's there.
We know he's there. We're sure he's there. So we'll find out more as we go through the course today, which is going to be something that I like to call it more than a contest. The whole idea of putting this together was looking at you being judged not on how you played, but as if you were auditioning for a band, and
Right.
pretend that the band are these four greatest. Whether you got the gig or not, which means whether you became number 3 or number 2 or number 1 and actually won something in the contest at this time. But I wanted to go around the horn with you guys first, just, you know, through your career. And a lot of people grew up, and I knew a lot of you in your younger days, formative days too, if you will. A lot of hours and decades of practice has gone into what's happening. But for young drummers out there who are auditioning for the first time, think of this as their opportunity. You judged them, you looked at them. What are the things you would think you would want to encourage them? Gregg, we'll kind of go around.
Well, you mentioned something a second ago about, do you play the track and do you play it the way that it would be presented to you the first time, or do you go off and do your own thing? And when you audition for bands, usually, in my experience, you try to find out what the record sounds like and play it like the record. Try to find YouTubes of the live shows. Everybody on the road ends songs a little differently. A lot of songs will fade out on a record. You need to find out how the ending is, and then sort of see how much they want you to do your own thing. If you're recording with someone, you can play a couple, 2 or 3 different takes. One could be like their demo or their drum machine or their loop. The other one could be kind of like you if you were in the band. What would you do? And a third take could be a wild take where they can throw and cut in things you did, fills you did. So auditions, recording sessions, it's all kind of a little bit different in that sense. But this is very much like an audition. I love the fact that it's set up that way.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
And Thomas, if you were in your younger days, did you have some auditions at some point, or people kind of knew who they were getting right from day one?
Well, a bit of both, but I've had many auditions over the years, yes. And just like Gregg said, you have to kind of prep. I think a good starting point is always to learn the songs exactly like they're on the record. If they want a slightly different version, sometimes they send you a live version of it and a slightly different arrangement. But whatever they send you and whatever you can find to prepare, I think a good starting point is to play the songs pretty much exactly like they're used to playing them. You want to make them feel comfortable. So not much trickery, no kind of spontaneous changing of the arrangements or going into double time here because you think it's cool.
No costume changes.
No costume changes. No, impromptu halftime bridge section or anything. Just play them as they are on the record, and I think that's a good starting point usually. And then once you get the gig, there's room for expansion and experimentation potentially, and maybe you can throw in a few of your own ideas and a little bit of flavor and spice, like Gregg always does. He goes like emerald.
Emerald.
Exactly.
Chad.
But I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah, excellent. And the first video we're going to play has something to do with just what you said. I'll tell you about it in just a second.
Okay.
Chad, your experience with auditionings, what would you tell young drummers out there that are, even if it's just friends and family, the guy down the streets wants me to come and sit in with his band?
Sure. Well, we're a little bit older. I know the auditions these days are on video, where we used to meet the band.
Right.
And then it was all about your playing, yes, but then it was also kind of how are you socially? Do you fit in with these characters or not? Video, you don't get that. So you're playing the track. I think you want it to be as seamless as possible. Like Thomas and Gregg were saying, you pretty much want to play what they're used to, but of course your feel is going to be a little bit different. And I think you always want to make the music feel really good to them, because a guitar player isn't going to know if you're playing a paradiddle or any rudiment or any fancy stuff, but he's going to know if it makes the music feels good. So
Yeah.
Excellent.
Try to figure out how to do that.
Let me see technically if we have Terry with us here. Terry, can you hear me there?
Can you hear me?
There you go.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hi, yeah. Yeah, I'm here. I was just going to say to the tech guys, maybe they could take the slapback echo off of.
I have that too. There's
before Chad starts
the delay
to Heartbreak Hotel. I think maybe if that could go down, that would be wonderful. Yeah, for me, I was the big audition for me was Zappa, and I think I was fainting at the time. Kind of blacking out from fear. So anybody who has the guts to audition and not faint, more power to him. You're a better man than I. So I don't know.
Faint, you're already a winner.
You're a winner.
So what I remember was a lot of guys were either couldn't read and were trying to sort of flaunt their chops in whatever was happening. And, pretty much the drummers were dropping like flies. So I thought to myself, when I go up there, I just want to play the guys' music, and do the best I can at that. Not like show them I can do fast fills or this, that, and the other. And that seemed to work for me. I did the best I could at what I could read. And I explained that I understood a 13 tuplet, let's say, over 3/4 or something. I could understand it, even though I couldn't play it up the tempo yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, things like that. Just be real. And, I don't know. At the end, Frank, after all this hard stuff, he said, let's just play a blues shuffle. And so, then I stopped feeling like I was going to faint, and I was able to just kind of swing with the guy.
Wow.
And, it seemed to work out good for me.
Again, it comes back to that feel. He wanted to see how you felt in the band, beyond the mathematical density.
Yes.
How are you going to make this stuff groove or not?
It's Dweezil was saying statistical density of the black page, right?
Here's a gentleman who just missed the top 3. I mean, only by a couple of points. And I thought it was certainly worth an honorable mention. Also, he did something completely different from any other time I've heard our Drum Channel theme song being played.
Yeah.
And it has to do with double time. Let's hear the end of his audition. I'm calling it an audition now instead of entering a contest. Let's hear the end of his audition for the last minute or so, and check this out, and then we'll talk about it. Here he is. This is Marcelo. Brazil, yeah.
Yes. Excellent work.
Excellent. Just missed the top 3 by a hair, I'll tell you.
So very close.
And by the way, everybody has a chance to win, even if you're not in the top 3, because we have a random drawing. They're in here.
That's right.
We may even do a couple of them during the show. We'll give away maybe some Drum Channel annual subscriptions too at the same time. So we'll remind me as we go through maybe the next couple of videos, and we'll just pass the hat around, or drum as the case may be, and choose a random winner.
Yes.
I want you to hear, it's Nicolina. Nicolina.
Yeah.
And Belgrade is the last name, from Serbia. A young drummer, and this is the kind of people that we want to encourage to enter the audition, to enter the contest, because we will be able to give you some good feedback. You don't have to be the winner to win. So listen to her play for a little bit, and then a couple of things I wanted to bring up to get your guys' opinion on, to get some feedback on. So here's Nicolina. All right, that gives you a good
Very
flavor.
nice,
It was interesting
Nicolina.
because Chad and Terry cannot see. You could actually hear a little bit of what was going on there. What's your impression from hearing it? And then I'll give you a couple of things that I would think would be tips that I wanted to ask you guys about in terms of the way she was approaching what she was doing. Chad, what was your reaction just hearing her play?
I thought the bass drum was really solid. She was right, sounded really nice in the groove with the kick drum patterns. Can we hear it? Sorry.
Yeah, very solid.
Yeah, we're losing Chad's audio here.
Yeah.
In the
No,
room.
we can hear you.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Bass drum was solid. Yeah, Chad.
Yeah, really solid and locked in with the bass part. Nice.
So one thing I was going to mention, in playing the bass drum, she was playing it always into the head. Do you suggest, Thomas, I know you do some crosses on that people learn various ways to respond?
Yes, I do. Of course, I teach a lot of different ways to play the bass drum in order to play it dynamically. But I think she did a great job in this song because it's kind of a rock song, and good solid kick drum works really well. The camera angle was maybe a little misleading because it seemed like she had her foot sideways on the.
It looked sideways, but it wasn't. You don't think?
I think it's maybe just the angle.
The angle, okay.
Yeah, but Nicolina, fantastic job.
Yeah.
I love the T-shirt. You got Eddie.
Iron Maiden Eddie.
Iron Maiden shirt, and great looking drum set. Set up very correct, I thought.
Maybe one thing for the video too, because you were always staring with no expression, looking down, and that's not a bad thing. But if you're playing certain music, you want to have different, maybe like you're getting into it. And
Watch some Gregg Bissonette videos and analyze his facial expression. There's a lot of action in Gregg's face every time he plays.
Well, you're wearing the Iron Maiden shirt. Look at Nico McBrain when he plays, or look at Keith Moon.
Yeah.
Look at Terry Bozzio, Baby Snakes. You can really have like you're really getting into it. But you weren't smiling like you were happy. It's not a real positive, happy song. You don't have to be like, but you weren't also like you're digging in. You were just kind of emotionless. And for the video, maybe it's good to just show a little bit of the emotion that we heard.
Enthusiasm.
We heard the passion.
Yes.
But you could just kind of
get into it.
Get into it. Yeah.
But wonderful job.
Really great job.
Even if you're auditioning with a band live, you want to show that to the other. They're going to be standing there looking at you.
Yeah, look at them. If you're looking down, you're such a great player. You don't really need to look at where your drums are. You could close your eyes, but look at them when you do play in person. Right?
Yes, yeah.
And in an audition, important to remember, you're not the only one auditioning. So there might be 10 people who also play pretty good, but the one that looks the happiest.
Right. Yeah. So Chad said, the social side of it, when you're auditioning in a room with people, after you play, they want to know, well, is this somebody that I can be on a tour bus with for a year?
Sure.
Or are you, just kind of lift people up and be kind of.
What do you all think about, I noticed one thing, she sounded great, but that could come back to bite her as she continues on with her career. I believe you talked about this in one of your lessons. Hitting crash cymbals straight into it without doing a glancing blower. Is it a good suggestion to not play straight into it?
Kind of slice.
Yes, I'd like to slice a little bit, and I think when you hit straight on, a lot of times, I've even seen drummers that held their stick on the cymbal, and you break cymbals, but it also can muffle it. I love watching Ringo every night because he's got a wash, and when he hits crashes, it's a glancing blow that's kind of, and I think it's a little bit more musical.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of Gregg Bissonette's Drums is Cool on Drum Channel would.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. There we go.
Don't,
I can't get it to stop.
Nicolina, don't take any inspiration from watching me play and all my facial expression, because that's usually terrible. I always do this. I like my tongue's always out, and I make faces.
That's emotion.
It's real.
It's real.
But it's not very attractive.
But
I wanna look like Chris Coleman when he plays.
Yeah.
Because he's always smiling. He's always like,
you look cool when you play. You're showing the passion.
Terry looks cool always.
I think
Terry, yes, and Chad looks cool. Chad looks like super organized and like super slick all the time.
Yeah. Like nothing's a problem.
Like exactly.
I'm Chad Wackerman.
Like completely relaxed faced. I can't do that.
He's one of the few drummers, artists on Drum Channel, who actually studied his course which taught him how to play, which he's now giving all of you out there the opportunity to learn. So he
Exactly.
looks cool because
It's
if you
true.
learn the Murray Spivak method, you're cool.
Yes.
Cool.
And
Well,
it
it's based
starts
on
with,
relaxation
it starts
and
with the facial
efficiency, yeah.
expression.
Terry, we're going to play another video of this is actually a band. It's one of the few where the drummer actually showed us his audition, not playing along to a track, but playing in a band. It's a younger player, and they're doing a Rush cover. But I want to talk when we come back about the difference of playing to a track if you're playing a cover song at home, or playing in a band. What's that, what's the leap you have to go from one to the other, where all of a sudden the band isn't keeping you together, you got to keep the band together. But let's listen to this and have you guys comment on it. Here's Addison playing a Rush cover. I think she's from Ontario, Canada, as a matter of fact.
So is Neil Peart.
Yep,
There you
there
go.
you go, there you go. Here's Addison. So you could only hear that, Terry, but and we'll get comments from Chad and Thomas about actually looking at it. Well, Chad's the same situation you are, but from Gregg looking at it along with Thomas. But so she was playing in a band. What is that? What did you think of what you heard? Number one, and as one question. The other is the difference between playing in a band and playing a cover.
You want this from me? You want my opinion?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, playing with a track that's already laid down is kind of hell. Unless the band, of course, is made up of Chad Wackerman, because then he makes you sound good no matter what you do.
You're too kind.
And Chad's always like, "Bam, gotcha." Always makes you sound good. Patrick O'Hearn is another friend of mine who just always makes me sound right, even if I'm wrong. And I have been wrong.
He's never wrong.
Times in my life.
Ever.
But so there's an elasticity and a communication between other members of the band live, where they're constantly adjusting, in microseconds to be together with the rest of the ensemble. So yeah, that's one thing. The thing about playing with a track is it's really hard to sit with a track that's frozen in cement, you know, and not going to move one way or the other, and make that feel right. You know, there's a real art to playing to a track like that and making it sound listenable. And I really couldn't hear well the drums on this, but you know, it was a little bit funny to my ear, but I don't know what I'm really hearing here in Japan. You know, it kind of had an accent, you know.
Just technically too, we had some stuttering, internet like stuttering happening, so I couldn't.
We heard it crystal clear here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some little bits that were cut out audio-wise.
Okay, well maybe
So you guys could see also.
Yeah, we can see also, and one of the things, Addison, that is great when you play with your band, like we all know Tom Sawyer, and we all know what Neil Peart played, and when he went from the didn't da da didn't, then he went to the halftime. Your halftime wasn't like exact halftime, and that's kind of what Terry's talking about. You can massage the tempo. The band in a millisecond can go with where your halftime really is, and it sounds great. And you guys slid right into the halftime that was the Addison halftime, and it worked. The only way I like really playing with tracks is if the track, unfortunately, is cut with a click. Because if they take drums off of old takes of, say, a band from the 60s or 70s, there's no click, and you're supposed to rise and fall when the drummer rises and falls. Like Terry says, that's hell. You can't imagine where they're going to rise and fall. If you're playing with a track where you go from do 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 ba 3 and 4 and ba 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 ba, then that's one thing. If there's a click, but when you're playing with your band, it's a lot easier because they that was a cool band you were saying. They felt it together, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Well, I really enjoyed your submission, Addison. I thought it was awesome. And one thing I noticed is, you know, you're holding the sticks so far up, you know, towards the middle. It seems like you're past the balance point of the sticks, and that would make it harder to play. It looked like you were almost holding them in the middle rather than more, you know, in the sort of first third of the stick length from the butt end. But it was great. I was very impressed with your whole band. Also, the other guys in the band, I think, did a great job. It's not an easy song to play and to sing, especially. So
one other thing, you had a vocal mic right in front of your face the whole time, but there was no, you didn't sing. Your singer did all the Geddy Lee stuff. So if you're not singing, swing that. Take a key from the greatest drummer singer I know out there now, and that's Abe Laboriel Jr. He's singing with Paul McCartney, and when he's not singing, his mic is back, and he's just playing and going for it. When you sing, but you were kind of restricted. You had that mic there the whole time, and it seemed like you couldn't really.
Oh yes, that's true. That's true. But I thought you did a great job. It sounded great and wonderful, all the fills. And it's not easy to kind of replicate Neil's fills on a much smaller kit. So I think you did a great job there, orchestrating all those fills that go all over, you know, from left out with the concert toms and everything, just on a 5-piece kit. So I thought it was very good, and it was a lot of fun.
Slingerland kit, which was Neil's first.
That's
kit was
right.
a Slingerland,
and that was a chrome.
That was a
I have a
chrome,
poster of that out there.
Yeah.
So nice tribute to Neil and his first kit. Good choice of drums there. Yeah.
Yay for you! Yeah. I thought you would add, as the same as the previous one, a little bit more excitement, maybe in just looking like you're having a better time.
Yeah,
but
you
I think
didn't look like you were having a great time. And a lot of times when Neil played, he was pretty darn serious. He wasn't exactly like, you know, he wasn't Terry on Baby Snakes, you know.
Right.
He was just kind of, he kind of sat. So maybe there's nothing wrong with that, but it could have been kind of cool if you had a little bit more emotion to your, I don't know. Yes. Don brought it up.
So, well, I thought it was great, and she was in the top 20. So, congratulations for that.
Yes. Great job.
I think, you know, we have a random drawing, and the random drawing is going to get the winner a Sabian HHX20 Aero Crash.
Okay.
Correct, Chris?
Exciting.
There we go. So, do you know about that cymbal?
I know about that cymbal.
Tell us about that cymbal.
Well, it's a great cymbal, and it's You can use it in a lot of different styles. I use it for rock stuff.
So
Random
jazz stuff.
drawing.
Let's pick
it's yours.
random drawing.
I'll mix it for you.
We'll do another random drawing before the winners, which would be for a year subscription to Drum Channel too. So we'll keep a couple of them going.
Okay,
here.
so which one are we doing now?
The Sabian?
This is for the Sabian cymbal.
Okay, guys, random drawing for a Sabian cymbal. I'm mixing a drum. Chad, drum roll.
Ready?
You get a drum roll.
Boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. For a Sabian HHX 20-inch Aero Crash cymbal, the winner goes to. It's folded twice.